What's the deal, family? Welcome back to the realest reaction channel on YouTube. It's your boy Sean. We here with another banger for y'all, man. So look, we got Bill Burr, Philly Rant. What actually happened? All right, man. So recently I did a reaction to the Bill Burr Philadelphia Rant. That shit was wild, hilarious. To me, it was. Some people think it was out of pocket. Some people think like, nah, he tweaking. I thought that shit was hilarious. Super funny. The hell was that? Anyway, super funny. He ripped him a new one. Put it that way. You know what I mean? You could say he was in his feelings or out of pocket, but he was actually pretty funny about it though. So it didn't seem like, you know what I mean? However you take it is how you want to take it. But we about to find out right now what actually happened, what went down right before, during, what was going on in his head, etc., etc. There's no video, it's just audio. So I'm gonna try not to pause too much, because I know how some of y'all be, whatever. Go watch the video yourself, man. Go start your own reaction channel. How about that? But yeah, man, we gonna see what he talking about, man. Send me more comedic Bill Burr videos. I'm gonna get back to the stand-up stuff after this. I just had to figure out what happened for this rant, though, man.
Pull in, and it looks like the Eagles are playing the Cowboys or something. Yeah. And we're like, this is a fucking comedy show? Are they having like a preseason game here next? Like, what's going on? So we got in there, and yada, yada, yada. It's still broad daylight because it's summer. It's outside. And the place holds 10,000 people, and maybe like, I don't know, 35, 40% are in there. Maybe 20% are sitting down. The rest are walking around trying to find their seat. And Voss goes out and brings up the first act, who I'm not going to name his name because he went out there. He was from Philly, had all his family there and all that type of stuff. And it's not Dom Irrera, if everybody keeps guessing that one. It was broad daylight. He goes out there and just does his act. And within, I don't know how many minutes, he starts getting booed. And, dude, everybody backstage is just going like, oh, God, in their own way going, it's going to be one of these, right? And I'm looking at the list. How far down the list am I? This is how it's starting.
So this is normal. This is normal.
This is normal. And, like, by the end of his act,
I guess
it was this core group of people that started booing him. And then it got a little bit bigger. So there was probably like maybe like 1,000 people just chanting, asshole, asshole. And this guy was so deer in the headlights, he just ends his act with, like, as they're chanting asshole, he just goes, thanks a lot, you guys have been great, good night, right?
Oh, that's tough.
And gets off stage. That's tough, bro. Damn. Had an absolutely stunned look on his face. And I went up to him to try to console him, and I was kind of doing that, dude, while kind of laughing because he had this stun, like, what the fuck was that? So then Voss goes out. And he starts doing time. And you got to understand, Voss is doing time in front of a crowd that's sort of going in. I don't know why we started it. Maybe it was one of those things you had to be out of the venue by a certain amount of time. These people were getting fucked up, and they were still throwing footballs around. And we're walking into the stadium, and Voss starts trying to do his shit, which was impossible, dude. It was like this bright sun. It was ridiculous. So they start turning on him, and he goes, hey, you know, watch your mouths or I'll bring so-and-so back. And he shit on the first guy. And to me, he just turned the keys over to the crowd where they do the Caesar thumbs up, thumbs down, which is the vibe Voss likes and the vibe I don't like, right? So, dude, the lineup was insane. Like, Tracy Morgan, Patrice O'Neal, Ralphie May, I think Bob Saget, Robert...
Tracy Morgan, Patrice O'Neal? I already know that Bob Saget was there because of the other video. But, I mean, that's an all-star lineup. I don't know who the first dude is, but damn, Patrice?
Kelly, Dom Irrera, myself, Opie and Anthony, and Jim Norton closing.
Yeah.
So... people, I don't know, like, I knew something was fucked up when Tracy Morgan went out, and he was supposed to do 15 to 20, and he pulled up at about 7 minutes, 50 seconds, in the middle of a bit, just stopped and went, thank you, good night, God bless, and just put the thing down. And you know that deal, dude.
Tracy
You do those
Morgan?
uptown rooms, they boo in those, and you go into the black rooms enough, you can feel a boo coming.
Yeah.
And he was just looking around.
It's like he saw the ocean go out, and he went, "Oh, there's a tsunami coming, guys."
Smartest fucking dude in the night. He looked at this bunch of crazy drunk white people. They're not going to remember if I did 7 minutes or 17.
Yeah.
God bless. I'm out. Put down the mic and fucking walked off. And then Ralphie did his thing. Patrice did his thing. Bob said, I think Patrice closed out the first half. And then they had a break. And at this point, now the sun's gone down. And now it starts to look like the Apocalypse Now, like bridge scene that you see on the YouTube video. And what happened? They showed a video in the middle. Their video in the middle during the intermission was some guy had an ear infection. And somehow he dribbled some of the stuff out of it. And then another listener drank it. And then somebody who was watching it threw up in a barrel.
What?
So that was the let's all go to the lobby moment of that show. So then the second half started. Bobby went out and killed. Had a great, because one of the big myths is that everyone was bombing. They weren't. Patrice killed. Ralphie killed.
You know Patrice O'Neal gonna kill it, bro. Patrice O'Neal. That's why I was like, Patrice. They was born Patrice, but no, he killed it. He killed it. Patrice gonna kill it, man. Patrice do his. I ain't seen him in a long time, but the ones I've seen, funny.
Tracy went on early. Tracy, the sun was going down, so he was the smartest guy. He was doing fine, but it was starting to be like, all right, already, like that. You just, there's no way to. You had people sitting on grass. There was lawn seats.
Yeah.
In broad daylight watching stand-up comedy, and you're this fucking big, and then there's a bit, and they're hammered. It was an impossible situation. So Bobby came out to start the second half, and he killed, and then Dom went out, and Dom, fucking A-level material, standing there delivering it, and about 3/4 through his set, the boo bird started coming back. Now, nobody has booed since the first guy, so let's end that whole myth. And the first guy went on around 7. This is now around 9:45 at night, which is always great. You know, let's do a 3.5 hour comedy show outside. Drunk people.
The setup sounds terrible. The setup of this whole thing, like I would definitely not want to go to that. Some shit like that. Like, nah, bro. Like that's some. Not to see these guys, because they probably paying a good amount of money to go see some of these top level comedians. So it's like, they paying that much money, and then you go to the shit, and you gotta realize now you got women dressed up in like they heels to be in some grass and shit. Dudes putting on the good shoes to be in grass. It's like, hey, not a good setup, man. Not a good setup.
Go wrong
During the change of day to night.
Oh yeah, it's so. Dom, about 3/4 through his set, they started. The boo bird started, and he just stood there like eloquently. And he just said, you know, he goes, I'm not leaving. He goes, what? Why would you think I would ever leave? And it was just almost like philosophical. And they were kind of like, oh yeah, what were we thinking? And they kind of stopped. And then he ended his set. He ended it on a good note. And at that point, I was annoyed. I was just annoyed because I was sitting there going like, this is one of the greatest comedy lineups that I've been, as far as up-and-coming guys that I've been around.
Yeah.
And these fucking people are treating everybody like shit. And, you know, and I'm a defensive fucking angry dude anyway, so it was just kind of the perfect storm. So I walked out there not even nervous. I was like, these guys don't even deserve a show. Fuck this. What the fuck am I even doing on this tour? So basically, I did the reverse of you praying. I went the completely other way. I walked in there like I was walking into like fucking Vaughn's to go buy a fucking chicken breast or something. You know, like I had no nervousness.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they introduced me and the fucking whatever curtain or whatever I walked out from behind. I looked out and I was like, oh my God. So I was like, fuck, what joke am I going to do? So I did the first one and it wasn't working, so I bailed on it. And then I did this next joke, which I didn't realize they were playing as the radio promo, so everyone had already heard it.
Oh.
I don't know what, dude. I didn't want to do the show at that point. So really them booing
Tough.
to the level that they did was my fault. Like I wasn't a professional. What I should have done was I should have kept my head in the game to survive it. So I came out and threw gas on a fire that was already going, and I pulled up halfway through the second that second bit, and I said something like, "Oh, what? You guys aren't going to laugh at that?" And then it was just this thunderous boo, and I just snapped because I didn't want to be there. Like, I just kept thinking the whole time backstage, going, "I didn't have to be here.
Yeah.
I could have been in a place in front of 150 people that wanted to hear my jokes. I would have made 10% of what I'm making tonight, and I would have been happy.
Yeah.
I don't fucking need." I've done this. I've been humiliated. I've had enough shit thrown at me. I'm 15 years into my fucking career. Whatever. What was it? 06? 14 years into my goddamn career. Okay? I don't want to do this anymore.
Right,
Okay?
right.
So that was the vibe that I came out with, which was a fucking...
Yeah, I mean, I imagine you are like making you make people laugh for 14 years. Like, you are known to be a top level comedian already. Your place is solidified, and then people booing and shit, acting crazy. Hey, man, what I say, from the East Coast, bro. It's just, hey, that's what they hit that deep East Coast mentality, that New York in them, and he just had to go off, bro. Philly got people that got that deep Philly in them too. I know Philly cats, bro. They don't be playing either. They'll talk they shit too.
And stupid vibe to come out with. So whatever. So they booed me, and I just snapped because I remember the time when I got booed. Another time, I didn't leave the stage, but afterwards, it just kept gnawing at me. The faces of people in the crowd, just thinking like, I let that guy boo me.
Yeah.
I let that fat guy boo me, and I didn't call him fat.
Yeah.
I let that dumb chick. I didn't call her a dumb chick. What the fuck is wrong with me? And I never made a point to say that, well, the next time that happens, because who thinks it's going to happen again? Or who thinks it's going to be fucking 100 times worse?
In a fucking stadium.
Yeah. So that's basically what happened. And I'm a big sports guy. And that's really what saved me. Because people go, oh, you turned the crowd around because they respected and blah, blah. No, because what it was in Jersey. So it was close enough to D.C., it was close enough to New York, and it was in Jersey and Philly. So what you had was fans of the New York Giants, the New York Yankees, the fucking New Jersey Devils, the Washington Capitals, the Washington Redskins, and all of them are in the same division.
And you're making fun of...
They fucking hate the Eagles. They fucking hate the Flyers. They fucking hate the Mets fans hate the Phillies.
Yeah.
Giants, Redskins fans hate the Eagles.
That's so fucking interesting.
So that's what it is.
That is interesting. I did not even... Like, Jersey and, like, Washington wasn't even a thought in my video I'm watching. I'm thinking this is in, like, deep Philly, and then this dude is from New York. You know what I mean? Just straight up. That's it. He in Philly, deep Philly. This dude's from New York talking to these people. You know, I was not expecting that there's going to be people from New Jersey, also Washington, D.C. And so that's what makes sense on why the crowd, there's people cheering and laughing, but then there's also people booing. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense.
So I started shitting on their teams, and I know my stuff when it comes to that stuff, and I just so happened that I was also in a city where they were having this championship drought, so it just became that's what
easy.
it became.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I started. I think I just started just saying mean shit about their moms and wishing AIDS on them and everything, but then once I got into the sports thing, that's when it took off. Like all that fuck the Liberty Bell and shit. I was just anything I could think of Philly at that point. But when I was doing the sports thing, and I've never watched it. I've seen clips, but I never really watched it. But like, it was the sports thing that
really
dragged. I mean, there might have been, and if there was people from like fucking Western Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh Flyers is one of the biggest rivalries ever. When I made fun of their slacks that they wore.
Yeah.
Well, called them a bunch of faggots back when you didn't get in trouble for saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there was nothing homophobic about it.
Right.
It was just like, that's why I love that Louis C.K. joke when he talked about the word faggot. Like, I never associated that with homophobia. I just to me that just meant you were a douchebag and I couldn't count on you.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So,
right.
And it still kills me to this day that I forgot to bring up the 76ers.
Really?
I forgot to bring up the 76ers. And I instantly knew I was going to say something along the lines that the Philadelphia 76ers, all you have is Allen Iverson. And the rest of the team is just like this crowd, a bunch of nobodies going fucking nowhere, or just something.
He did forget to bring up the Sixers. That was the only team he forgot, man. Anyways, that was Bill Burr, the Philly Rant. What actually happened? It does give you a slightly different perspective on what was going on in the video. But either way, what happened. It was extremely hilarious. It was a moment. It was a moment. It'll forever be a moment. It was still talked about to this day. It's still talked about. Hey man, live life with no regrets, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Remember to keep it real. Real is rare. Real always reaches everyone. Till next time. Peace.